Hey guys, in today's video I will be doing a major tropical update talking mainly about Tropical Storm Gonzalo, which has officially formed as of around 9 a.m. this morning, just after the 8 a.m. advisory. And as of the 11 a.m. advisory, the most current advisory, it has sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, pressure is at 1,000 millibars, and it is moving due west at 14 miles per hour. And so let's look at the cone that the NEC has currently for the system. And you can see, let me zoom this in so you guys can actually see it a little better. You can see that the NEC does forecast the system to become a hurricane by early tomorrow morning. I do agree with that fully. And I do think that if it continues this kind of rapid strengthening it has currently done and seems to try to continue now, and if it continues to do that, I think it could become a pretty strong hurricane. I'm not sure yet if it will have any chance really of becoming a major hurricane, but I think at most it could become a strong Category 1 or even get to Category 2 status. So let's now look at the arrival time of winds, and this is mainly for the Leeward Islands, especially the central and southern Leeward Islands. Around Saturday at 8 a.m., it looks like the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds will arrive for those areas. So still a few days away from that, so I mean, that's a good thing. But if it strengthens anymore, and in the case that does become a hurricane, maybe it'll sustain being a hurricane getting up to the Leeward Islands, which doesn't look to be forecast right now, but that still could be the case. These chances could go up. As of right now, the Leeward Islands are under a 20 to 30% chance of tropical storm force winds. So let's see, the 50 knot. It's some of the Leeward Islands, some of the very southern Leeward Islands are under a 5 to 10% chance of 58 mile per hour wind speeds, at least 58 mile per hour wind speeds. We'll see about that, but, we'll see. Hurricane probabilities right now, it has up to a 10 to 20% chance of hurricane force wind speed probability, so there is some chance, though it does look like it will become a hurricane as of what it looks like right now, and what the satellite imagery of the system looks like with the convection. So let's look at I'll show you what it looks like right now. Here's Gonzalo, and you can see that it looks pretty good for a tropical storm. It definitely looks like a tropical storm. Convection continues to explode around the center, and it's staying very consistent in and around the center. The convection looks to kind of be dying down on the outer parts of the system, but that shouldn't hinder it that much. It should continue to try and strengthen a bit. It's over pretty much very prime conditions. It has the very warm sea surface temperatures to use as fuel, and there's barely any dry air or anything really around it. So, and I mean, even if there is any dry air around it, it's really fighting it off, and it's doing it very successfully. So it doesn't seem like we'll have to worry about the dry air or anything invading the system. What the GFS thinks of where the system will head, this is very interesting. It shows it, staying to the south of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, but then it shows it going straight across Cuba and then maybe into the very eastern Gulf as of right now, which is interesting. I don't see that exactly happening. I think it will stay to the south of all of the islands and stay within the central Caribbean and then head into the Gulf somewhere between the Yucatan and Cuba. So I think it will likely more go into the central or western Gulf. The current model intensity guidance has it becoming quite strong. It's already a tropical storm strength, and all the models show it strengthening more. Pretty much all of them have it entering hurricane status, and a good few of them even have it entering Category 2 status. So I do think that is possible. I do think that it will at the least become a strong Category 1, maybe a weak Category 2, especially if it continues to strengthen as it has been doing lately, as of lately. Douglas is now a hurricane, just to quickly comment on that. It has officially become a hurricane. This hasn't really updated yet. But yeah, Douglas has become a hurricane. It's at 75 miles per hour. Invest 91L, though, surprisingly looks pretty decent, by the way, and that's the system in the Gulf right now. Intensity guns for it. Some of a good amount of them do have it reaching Tropical Storm status, and then the ship model has it even getting to Category 1 status. I don't know. I really doubt that. I think it will at least get to weak, maybe moderate Tropical Storm status if it is able to really continue to strengthen and really get its act together. But we'll see. Let's look at the forecast models. This is a new GFS model that's coming in, the 12Z model run. And we'll go to the wide view of the North Atlantic. Actually, you know what? Let's zoom into the tropical Atlantic so we get a really good view of Gonzalo. Here's Gonzalo right there. Right there. As you can see that low right there. And as we move it forward, the GFS has it strengthening a good bit, getting below 1,000 millibars, getting to 997 millibars. And then, trying to keep its strength pretty well, pretty strong, but then it looks like it'll start to weaken as it heads into the Caribbean, and we'll see what happens with it once it enters the Caribbean. See how the conditions are. I'm not going to be too surprised if it really does kind of degenerate back into just like a lot of heavy showers and thunderstorms. But then I do think if that is the case, I think it could have a chance of trying to redevelop and try to strengthen again, especially as it heads towards the Western Caribbean and towards the Gulf, especially the Central and Western Gulf. I think that will be its track. I don't really see it curving more to the north and going through Cuba or Hispaniola and going into the subtropics area of the Bahamas around Florida. I do think it will stay south of all those areas and go straight through the Caribbean. And if it does so, the Caribbean still has some of the warmest sea surface temperatures there, and the Western Caribbean has a much better atmosphere for the system to really try to redevelop and re-strengthen if it does degenerate back into just a bunch of heavy showers and thunderstorms over the Central and Eastern Caribbean because of all the sheer and dry air there. There is that. So that's what the GFS is showing. And honestly, I pretty much fully agree with the GFS on this for the most part. I think maybe it could have a chance of trying to strengthen a little bit more, just a little bit more than what the GFS is showing to become a Category 1 hurricane at some point. I'll show you what the CMC is showing. So there's Gonzalo there. There's Gonzalo. And as we move it farther out in time, CMC is actually showing it very weak, a lot weaker, and not at all as strong or anything, which is interesting. I think Gonzalo's already at 1,000 millibars, so it's honestly kind of behind with what it's showing for it. It has it at 1,008 millibars with its newest run, which is very odd. I'll show you now the European model. I'll show you it's a vorticity for the system. So there's that vorticity for the system. Very compact and very well defined. But then the European shows it falling apart really. And honestly, I agree with that. Especially since it's heading into the Caribbean, especially the Eastern and Central Caribbean. We'll see how it goes once it goes into the especially the Western Caribbean and even into the Gulf. We'll see how that goes. And just real quick, I do want to show you what the Enso region is like. Right now, it's at negative 0.020 degrees Celsius. So it is still negative, and we're in a La Nina watch. So we're going to pretty much be expecting a La Nina to form at some point soon. I'll just show you the sea surface temperatures for the North Atlantic. You can see the waters that Gonzalo is in right now. Around here is 28, 29 degrees Celsius, so plenty warm for it to continue to try and strengthen. And then as it heads into the Caribbean, they're still very warm very warm sea surface temperatures all throughout the Caribbean. It's just that when it's in the eastern and central Caribbean, it has to deal with a lot more drier and sheer, so it won't really be able to sustain itself or strengthen much there. But if it still kind of holds itself together as at least a lot of showers and thunderstorms still swirling, and then enters the western Caribbean and then the Gulf, it will likely try to re-strengthen and redevelop back into a named tropical system. So, we'll have to watch that, see if that does occur, which honestly, I think a lot of us do think that will occur. Especially, and I do really think that, honestly, it will enter the Gulf, either in the western or central Gulf, and the sea surface temperatures there are around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's honestly boiling and perfect for this system to really try and strengthen a lot more. And if it does hold itself together again and goes through the western Caribbean and into these parts of the Gulf and tries to redevelop, I do think it has a much better chance of trying to really rapidly intensify and try to become a major hurricane at this point in time, which is still like many days out, away from happening. So of course we'll have to watch that and see how that goes. But in general, I mean, it has in general it has decent conditions to try and develop and strengthen, except for as it goes into the eastern central Caribbean. Let's look at the Wikipedia page for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, and it's the new thing that is added. It says, on July 22nd, Tropical Storm Gonzalo became the earliest 7th named storm 12 days after Faye. So so far this year in the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, we've had the earliest forming C named storm, the earliest forming D named storm, the earliest forming F named storm. Wait, C named storm. I know we've had the earliest forming C named storm. We've had the earliest forming D named storm. And let's see, did Edward beat the record? I forget. But Faye, I know for a fact we've had the earliest forming C-named storm, F-named storm, and G-named storm. I think we had the earliest forming E-named storm. I think Edward did beat whatever the E-named storm in 2005 was. So, I mean, we've had a crazy amount of, a lot of crazy amount of early forming systems happening. So we've now had a total now of 7 named storms, and the total deaths is at 12 still. Total damage is currently still at somewhere above $1.275 billion in damage. We'll see if Gonzalo does impact and damage any land areas. It'll probably cause some damage to the Leeward Islands at the least. We'll see after that point where it will go and potentially what other land areas it could impact and cause some damage to. And by the way, just to mention here in the last bit of the video, the Weather Channel the Weather Channel has put out their newest forecast a few days ago on July 16th. That was 6 days ago. They are now calling for 20 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. They are fully agreeing with TSR, or tropical storm risk, for the forecast number of total hurricanes and major hurricanes, but forecasting potentially 2 more named storms than TSR is predicting total. So we'll have to see. My forecast, I fully agree with the Weather Channel for total named storms at 20, because I am forecasting 20 as of right now, total named storms. But I'm forecasting 11 hurricanes and 7 major hurricanes, which I still do think is very possible. And I think, especially once we enter August and September, that a lot of that will really explode and happen. At least a majority of that will happen. Of course, we'll have to see. And again, if we have somewhere close to 10 named storms right around 10 named storms by mid-August, I will have to increase my total amount of named storms from 20 to 23. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for that, see how active the tropics get between now and August 15th. So yeah, that's really it for today's video, guys. This is insane. I really am so excited about this, honestly. We finally get a new system to track. And then that other disturbance in the Gulf has up to a 50% chance of development within the next 5 days. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, this was really about, this video is really mostly about Gonzalo, really all about Gonzalo, talking about Gonzalo. But anyway, yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're a first-time viewer and you enjoyed what you saw, I do tons of weather content, especially tropical weather content. So if you're a first-time viewer and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, please like and comment. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.